Let us see what is the thought for the day. And today's thought is, leave no stone unturned to achieve success. Yes. What is the meaning of this thought? This thought tells us that in order to achieve success, whatever amount of hard work is needed, we should always do all that hard work. Right? Never think, what if I will not get success? But you should keep on doing your work. You should keep on working hard. Success will follow itself. So with this note, let's see how far did the two boys in our story, the summer of the beautiful white horse, are able to success in keeping the horse with them. And what happens next in the story? So let's continue with the class. Today we are on page number 6, the second last paragraph from bottom. That may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say, John Burrow said, but what of my Surrey? What good is a Surrey without a horse? So we had seen how Aram and Murad are enjoying their ride on the horse. Murad had kept a horse nearly for a month with him, which Aram learns when the farmer John Burrow comes to his house. Right? When he comes to his house, that time he comes to know that Murad had been keeping the horse for nearly a month. And when John Burrow comes to their house, even Uncle Khusro is there, who gets irritated and he shouts and scolds John Burrow when he is crying for his horse. Pay no attention to it, my Uncle Khusro roared. I walked 10 miles to get here, John Burrow said. You have legs, my Uncle Khusro shouted. So uncle is showing his anger, he is scolding. Then John Burrow says, I have to walk 10 miles to reach here. So much I have to walk. If I would have had my horse, I would have easily ridden on him and come here. So to which uncle says, so what happened? If you have to walk, you have legs and they are meant for walking. You can walk. My left leg pains me, the farmer said. Pay no attention to it, my Uncle Khusro roared. That horse cost me $60, the farmer said. So see, uncle is not ready to listen to the things, and John Burrow doesn't keep quiet. He keeps on giving one after the other things about his horse and keeps irritating Uncle Khusro. I spit on money, my Uncle Khusro said. So he says, don't talk about money to me. I give a damn care to money. Right? I spit on it. He got up and stalked out of the house, slamming screen door. So uncle got so irritated that he thought it is better I leave this place, otherwise this man is going to talk about his horse and he's going to irritate me more and more. So he just gets up, he slams the door and moves out of the house. My mother explained, now obviously, the mother has to explain the behavior of uncle, otherwise the visitor, the farmer, John Burrow, might feel offended, right? He might feel insulted. He has a gentle heart, she said. It is simply that he is homesick and such a large man. So he says, don't worry about the way he talked, right? He is gentle at heart, he is very good at heart. It's only because he is homesick, he is away from his homeland. He behaves in this manner. The farmer went away and I ran over to my cousin Murad's house. So after some time the farmer also went and Aram goes to Murad's house. Why? Because he wants to ask him, why you didn't tell me you had a horse with you for 1 month and you never told me? He was sitting under a peach tree trying to compare the hurt wing of a young robin which could not fly. He was talking to the bird. So see, this is another aspect of his personality. He was crazy, right? He wanted to live life his way, but on the other hand, he is very sympathetic. He is very much concerned, thoughtful. That is seen when we see that he is sitting under a tree and trying to trying to medicate the hurt wing of the robin, the bird. And he is talking while he is medicating it, while he is applying some medicine on its wing, he is talking to the bird. What is it? He said. The farmer, John Birrow, I said. So now maybe Aram might have gone and he might have stood in front of him. So he looks at him and says, what is it? And then he doesn't say anything, he only says, the farmer, John Birrow. And again he keeps quiet. He visited our house. He wants his horse. You have had it a month. I want you to promise not to take it back until I learn to ride. So now he says, you know, that farmer John Birrow, whom the horse belongs, he had come to our house and he was saying he's searching for his horse and he wants his horse. But I want you to promise me that you will not give back the horse until and unless I learn to ride the horse. Since you had been keeping the horse for 1 month, so I want you to keep it for a little extra time till the time I don't learn riding the horse. It will take you a year to learn to ride, my cousin Murad said. We could keep the horse a year, I said. So Murad is saying, I think it will take 1 year for you to learn riding a horse. And then Aram, in a very childish, innocent way, he says, okay, keep the horse for 1 year. I don't mind. My cousin Murad leaped to his feet. What? He roared. Are you inviting a member of the Gregorian family to steal? The horse must go back to its true owner. Now see how he is pretending. He had already stolen the horse. He had been with the horse for 1 month. And when Aram is requesting him to keep the horse for some time, he says, what? You are telling a member of the Gregorian tribe to steal? No, this cannot happen. The horse had to go back to its true master. When I said, in 6 months at the latest, he said. He says we cannot keep the horse for 1 year. Maybe at least for 6 months we can keep him. He threw the bird into the air. The bird tried hard, almost fell twice, but at last flew away, high and straight. So by now that bird was tended, he was taken care of, and now when he made him fly in the air, he fell twice, he fell down. But then later the bird started flying and it flew away. Early every morning for 2 weeks, my cousin Murad and I took the horse out of the barn of the deserted vineyard where we were hiding it and rode it. So for 2 weeks the things continued. Going, riding the horse, hiding the horse and coming back. Going, riding the horse, hiding the horse and coming back. When it was my turn to ride alone, leaped over grapes, vines and small trees and threw me and ran me. Nevertheless, I hoped in time to learn to ride the way my cousin Murad would. So, the situation was same. Murad was able to ride the horse, but Aram was not. And every day he would run and he would fall down from the horse. One morning, on the way to Fitzgibbon's deserted vineyard, we ran into the farmer John Birrow, who was on his way to town. So now one day when they were going to hide the horse, they saw the farmer coming. Let me do the talking, my cousin Murad said. I have a way with farmers. So now Murad says, you don't talk, only I will talk. I know how to deal with the farmers. Good morning, John Birrow, my cousin Murad said to the farmer. The farmer studied the horse eagerly. very nicely. They wished the farmer, but the farmer, he only took notice of the horse, right? And he was examining it. He was looking at it very carefully, very cautiously. "Good morning, son of my friends," he said. "What is the name of your horse?" "My heart," my cousin Murad said in Armenian. So, John Birro asked the name, and in Armenian language, in the tribal language, Murad answers, his name is My Heart. "A lovely name," John Birro said, "for a lovely horse. I could swear it is the horse that was stolen from me many weeks ago. May I look into his mouth?" So he is very happy to see the horse, right? But somewhere he is suspicious. He is doubting. So he says that, "Can I have a look in his mouth?" "Of course," Murad said. The farmer looked into the mouth of the horse. "Tooth for tooth," he said. "I would swear it is my horse if I didn't know your parents." So he looks into the horse's mouth and he finds out that maybe his horse had a tooth missing. And this horse, whose name they said is My Heart, right? The horse which they said belongs to Murad and Aram. So his same tooth was also missing. So he says, "Tooth for a tooth." And I am sure if it would not have been with you people, I would have claimed that this is my horse. But I cannot do it because I know your parents. I know about your tribe, that how your tribe is known, is famous for their honesty. The fame of your family for honesty is well known to me. Yet the horse is the twin of my horse. A suspicious man would believe his eyes instead of his heart. Good day, my young friends. So now he says, "See, if somebody else would have been in my place, he would have demanded, he would have accused you for stealing his horse. But I know your family, I know the trait of your family, that honesty which people are known for. So I am not able to say anything. I trust you people." And then he says goodbye and leaves the place. "Good day, John Birro," my cousin Murad says. Early the following morning, we took the horse to John Birro's vineyard and put it in the barn. The dogs followed us around without making sound. So now there is a change of heart in these boys. After maybe listening to what John Birro said about them, about their family, about their tribe, their heart changes. A realization dawns upon them. Right? Maybe they are forced to think how they have been defaming, spoiling the name of their family and their tribe. So they realize their mistake, and the next day they go and place the horse back into its place. That is the John Birro's house. "The dogs," I whispered to my cousin Murad, "I thought they would bark." So Aram, when he sees the dogs following them, he says that, "I thought maybe they would bark at us." To which Murad again gives his famous dialogue, "Don't worry, they won't bark. I have a way with the dogs." "They would at somebody else," he said. "I have a way with dogs." My cousin Murad put his arms around the horse, pressed his nose into the horse's nose, patted it, and then we went away. So before leaving, they showered lot of love on the horse, right? It was a gesture that along with their enjoying things with the horse, they also cared for him, they also loved the horse, right? So now when it is time for them to depart, they showered their love on him. That afternoon, John Birro came to our house in his surrey and showed my mother the horse that had been stolen and returned. So John Birro is very happy to get his horse. He comes back. He comes back to his house, to Aram's house, and he shows the mother, "See, I have got my horse, and now my surrey is also used think, he said. The horse is stronger than ever, better tempered too, I thank God. My uncle Khusro, who was in the parlour, became irritated and shouted, Quiet man, quiet. Your horse has been returned. Pay no attention to it. So, again Uncle Khusro is there present and he gets irritated and he says, keep quiet. Now you've got your horse. So, don't trouble, don't bother and go back to your house. So, this is how these two children, right, they stole the horse. It's not, Aram did not steal, but he was indirectly part of it, right? And he did not tell anybody about it because he himself was very much fascinated about horse. And he also wanted to learn how to ride the horse. So for that purpose, for that sake, what had he done? He had kept quiet. He didn't wanted Murad to return back the horse. And that was the reason why these people had kept the horse with them. But when John Birro talks about his family, about the reputation of their family, about the tribe, the important trait of honesty, then maybe they realize this. And when John Birro gets his horse back, even he might have understood that in the evening, in the afternoon or evening, he had seen this horse with those two boys, right? And in the morning, the horse has returned back. So even he might have understood who had taken the horse, but he was happy that he had got back his horse. And he comes to show it to the mother, but he never tells her about the incident that had happened, that he had met the two boys and how he had seen them with the horse. If he would have told this to the mother, then everybody would have known that what Aram and Murad had done. They had been disloyal, they had been dishonest, and they had stolen. In this way, what would have happened? The reputation of the family and the tribe would have been spoiled. But even John Birro is a good man, right? He might have thought that, okay, these are children, maybe they committed a mistake, but no issues. At least they have given back my horse. So, he was happy in getting the horse back. And that's the reason why he did not tell anything about the incident that he had seen the two boys with the horse. So, and this is how the boys also realized their mistake, and maybe they have also learned a lesson that in future they would not do anything which would spoil the name of their family. Right? So I hope the lesson is clear to you all. With any difficulty, feel free to get in touch with me. You can ask your queries. Now, until we meet in our next video, wherein we will be discussing the question and answers of this lesson, keep learning, keep experiencing, and keep turning the stones. You never know which stone will bring success to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.